So if you've been watching my series of videos, we have a section on knife skills and how important they are in the kitchen. We know the consistency of cutting means consistency of cooking. So if there's one thing that any chef really needs to know, or any home cook, is how to properly use a knife and to develop some really good skills. I've often said that knowledge is power in the kitchen. So this is part of my series on 50 tips and tricks every cook needs to know. This is a series that discusses and demonstrates simple concepts, methods, and techniques that anyone can master to take their cooking to the next level. You're going to be cutting things all the time: cucumbers, tomatoes, onions, carrots, bell peppers, and the list goes on. And it's so much fun to be able to go into a kitchen and know how to properly use a knife. So today we're going to be talking about bell peppers. Now, a few things, let me say as an aside here. When we cut something, we don't just take a cutting board and put it down on the table like this, because it'll slide on us, and that's very dangerous. So what we want to do is take a towel, wet it down a little bit, don't get it sopping wet, but wet it down, put it underneath the board, and that helps to anchor and secure the board. See, that doesn't push and move back and forth. That's a very important tip you need to know, free with this video today. Like us, subscribe, and tell all your friends. So bell peppers are kind of a funny thing. I mean, I remember when I first learned to cut a bell pepper when I was very young. I thought it was very difficult, because what I was taught to do, and what probably most of you were taught to do by your mother or grandmother, was to take the bell pepper, a knife, and go through the top of it and core it out, and then reach in there with a spoon and dig out all the seeds and all the pulp and everything that was in it. Well, Grandma and Mama probably told us wrong. So let me give you a couple better techniques, I think, today that will make your cutting of a bell pepper much more enjoyable. One way we can do it, of course, we have a good sharp knife. That's always important. And we hold the knife properly so it's nice and secure. So we cut off the top of it. It has the little stem there. Turn it around, cut off the bottom, and just a little bit. And we don't throw these away. When bell peppers are running sometimes $2 each, or even more on occasion, we want to use every bit of this that we can. So we're going to just set that aside and save it for later. You notice I have a bowl over here. Anytime I'm cutting any kind of vegetables, especially bell peppers and onions, I always have a bowl for the scraps. So we have a bowl. We're going to take our knife, take the bell pepper, put it right in front of us with the opening, both openings, one away from us, one toward us. We're going to take our knife at a slight angle, 45-degree angle. We're just going to penetrate the skin of that bell pepper until it opens up like that. See how it just kind of unfurls? Then I always like to bring it back here closer to the edge of the board. And I'm going to take that knife and just press down on the bell pepper and run the knife flat along my cutting board. As I do that, it's cutting out all of this seed and everything on the inside that we don't use. Isn't that the coolest trick? See how nice and neat that is? Sometimes I'll take the knife if I need to and just run back along it to make certain it's good and clean. But that's really, really perfect. Now it's in a position to where I can use it for dicing it. If I want a julienne cut, like that, or if I want to dice it like so, line everything up. So I'm in a perfect position to do whatever I want to with that bell pepper, even if I want to make large cubes with it, like that for kebabs or cooking Oriental food or whatever. So that's really a good method to use for cutting a bell pepper. Now, of course, we save that. We'll use that later for something else, or even dice it up. Now, here's another method. Say I don't want to use the entire bell pepper. I just need a little bit for a dish, and I don't want to cut it like that. Take your knife, leave everything intact on it. Just come over here to the side, get a firm grip, keep it nice and stable, or you can actually trim the bottom a little bit to give you a little more stability. And then come over here, come back a little bit, and just go down the side and trim off one or two pieces, and then you have the rest ready to use later. So, or you can go ahead and just do it all like this. Whatever you're comfortable with. That's the one thing I like about cooking. There are a lot of different techniques that we can use. Now what I'll do with this bell pepper is I'll lay it flat, very carefully put the knife in it, and then clean it up just like that. Isn't that kind of fun to do? I've done this hundreds of times, and I always enjoy cutting bell peppers. So this is part of my series, 50 tricks, tips and tricks, and that's hard to say, that you need to know to be a better cook in the kitchen. That's a mouthful. But I hope you enjoyed it today. Be sure to like us, subscribe. Join me next week on All Things Food with John Woods.